Alright, here's what we're going to work on today. We're going to work on drawing your planet. Now, as you watch this video, you may want to pause it. You may want to watch the whole video one time and then go back with your protractor, your pencils, your ruler, and work slowly. Again, pausing it as you go along. It's up to you. The first thing we're going to do so that your protractor fits your circle nicely is you're going to put your protractor right on your paper. With your protractor on your paper, what I want you to do is I want you to mark that center point that we used down on the baseline, and I would like you to also mark the 90. Now the reason I'm having you do that, let me move my protractor out of the way, is so that when you get your compass out here, you can make sure that your compass fits right into the circle that you're drawing. Okay, so let me move my compass over. Let me extend it so that it fits. Now my guess is you're going to be using a compass like the one we used in class. You're welcome to use my compasses. So you're going to adjust that by looking at the different circles that you're drawing in. Once you have this set, you're now going to trace out your circle. And you'll have a nice round planet to work with. Okay? Get rid of the compass and put the protractor back on. Alright. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to mark your 90 degrees at the top. Okay? Let me change color so you can see it. Going to mark your 90 degrees at the top. Now once you've marked it, again you're going to pull your protractor away and you're going to draw a straight line down this planet for your day-night line. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put mine in there right now. Okay, so there's my photo dark line. Now I'm going to rotate my protractor so that my photo dark line is on the 0. Just get my, there we go. And I'm going to rotate it so that that 0 matches up with the photo dark line. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the tilt of the planet. Earth is tilted at 23.5 degrees. When you guys do your planets at home, don't do any half degrees. Just go with full numbers, whole numbers, to make it easier for yourself. Okay? So I'm going to mark that. You should be able to see that mark right there through the protractor. Again, you're going to move your protractor out of the way to draw the line. I'm just going to go ahead and mark it. And I'm going to extend my axis from my dot through the center point through the outsides of the planet. And the reason I extended those is because the northern end of the axis that sticks through is the North Pole at 90 degrees north, and the South Pole at 90 degrees south. Now everything else I do is going to be perpendicular to the axis, so I'm going to rotate my protractor so that my 90 degrees goes right through the poles. Okay? Alright, now the next thing I need to mark would be the equator. So I would mark a 0 over here and a 0 over there. Okay, my equator is now marked. So what I now want to mark would be my tropics. My tropics are located at 23.5 degrees. So I'm going to mark 23 as closely as I can, 23 as closely as I can. Right here is where some people made a mistake in class, and instead of counting from the 20 to the 30, just kept moving to the right and went from the 20 to the 17. Let me draw that line. Okay, in an effort to save time, I'm not going to draw the Tropic of Capricorn, but it's going to be the same process in the southern hemisphere. The next line, as we travel north, would be Connecticut. Connecticut is located at 42 degrees north latitude, so I'm going to mark the 42 degrees right here, and again right here. Okay. Again, notice how the protractor fits nicely into the circle so that my marks are right at the edge of the protractor and right on my circle. Now when you do your planet, you're going to pick 3 locations that people might want to live at. Think about people on Earth. Some people like it cold, some people like it hot, and some people like a change in the seasons. So try to pick 3 different locations where you think you might be able to hit an area that has true 4 seasons, and an area that doesn't necessarily have a true summer, and an area that doesn't necessarily have a true winter in the sense of temperatures. Okay, the last mark that we need to make on this planet then is our Arctic Circle. Now, our Arctic Circle is at about 66.5 degrees north. If you look very carefully, you'll notice that the photo dark line is going through at right about that point. So we don't need to put a mark on that side. We do need to mark the 66 on the other side, and then we'll draw that line. Okay, now we have all of our lines drawn. So if we take our protractor out of here, that's what your planet's going to look like. Something like this, but with different angles. Okay? Alright, so now let's go and let's look at the way that we figured out the angles of insolation. Alright? The thing that we know is, I'm going to erase this information on the right hand side just to get it out of our way for now. Okay? The thing that we know is, I'm going to put the sun on this side. If we put the sun on this side, we know that the date is going to be June 21st, and we know that because the North Pole is tilted toward the sun. Okay? Right there. Now on this day, we know that the tropic is the one line of latitude that's going to be receiving a 90-degree angle of insolation. So now in order to figure out what the other locations are getting, we need to find the distance between the Tropic of Cancer and that location in latitude. We know that the Tropic of Cancer is located at 23.5 degrees north. We know that the equator is located at 0 degrees. So that's a difference of 23.5 degrees. Well, because both of these work on 90 degrees, the angle of insolation at the equator will be 23.5 degrees less than it is at the tropic. So we're going to do 90.0 minus 23.5, and we're going to get 66.5 degree angle of insolation. Okay. Okay, let me get rid of this math work so that we can do our next one. Okay. We're always going to keep that 23.5. Connecticut is located farther north, so this time we're going to subtract that Tropic of Cancer from Connecticut. 42.5 degrees north. Okay. Oops, I apologize. I don't know why I put the 0.5 in there. 42 degrees north. And we know when we do that subtraction, we're going to get 18 and 5/10 degrees. So now we're going to take that 90-degree angle of insolation and we're going to subtract 18.5 degree angle of insolation, and we're going to get a 71 and 5/10 degree angle of insolation at Connecticut. Okay. Now the last one we have to do, that's already up here, would be the Arctic Circle. Again, we're going to keep the Tropic of Cancer because we need it, and this time we're going to fill in 66 and 5/10 degrees north, and we're going to come up with a 43 degree difference. So now when I take my 90-degree angle of insolation, I know that the Arctic is going to be 43 degrees less than that because it's located 43 degrees away. I end up with a 47-degree angle of insolation at the Arctic Circle. Okay, some people were still getting a little confused when they had to go below the equator. Okay, we still need to find the difference in distance. However, when we go across the equator, we're going to have our 23.5 degrees north from the equator to the Tropic of Cancer, the Tropic of Cancer to the equator, and we're going to have another 23 degrees to the next tropic. So this time, we're going to add those numbers. Again, this is because we crossed the equator. So those two locations are 47 degrees in latitude apart from one another. So if I take my 90-degree angle of insolation and I subtract 47 degrees, I'm going to end up with a 43-degree angle of insolation down here along the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay? Okay, now just so we can see what that looks like, it's your choice if you want to do this. This is not mandatory. We can draw another picture so that we can see those angles of insolation. And the way we did this in class was we first drew a horizontal line across our paper. We put our protractor on there, and let me get my protractor up to where it needs to be. Okay. We mark the center point, and we mark, get my pen, and we mark the 90. And then what we did was we drew a short vertical line just so that we could make a shape for shadows. Okay, from there we marked each one of the angles of insolation. So we had a 90-degree angle of insolation right there, and that was at the Tropic of Cancer. Okay, we had a 71.5 degree angle of insolation right there, and that was at Connecticut. We have a 66-degree angle of insolation, and that's 66, excuse me, that's 66, oops, let me fix that. That's 66, wow, sorry guys. That 66.5 degree angle of insolation was at the equator. We had a 47 degree angle of insolation, and the 47 degree angle of insolation was at the Arctic Circle, And then we had a 43-degree angle of insolation at the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay? What we then did was, oh, let me put that back. I missed one. Didn't quite get in there where it should have been. Okay. So now I have all of those points. And then all we did was we drew in the lines from each one of those to our shadow stick to see what that angle really looked like. And doing this just helped us to visualize what that angle actually meant. Where was the sun? How high was the sun in the sky? Please make sure that you come to see me while you're working on your planets if you have any questions. We're also going to be doing the same diagram for December 21st for the winter solstice.